Back with another episode of Local Roots. Hi, I'm Todd Studer. Hope that you are off to a great start on this Thursday. I've got a very busy day ahead of me. Most Thursdays are. It starts with a business networking group that I'm a part of in Council Bluffs. It's called Council Bluffs Business Connection. And if you have a business and are interested in learning more, we love to have guests come in and introduce yourself and learn more about us. So if you'd like more information about that, send me an email, toddstuder@gmail.com, and I can help get you connected with that. I thought that on today's show, since we don't have a guest today, I thought that I would talk a little bit about business and what it means to be in business, and especially in a small town. But the idea is that I am sure that there is someone out there right now who's thinking about doing something and hasn't yet. And that I'm talking to you. If this sounds like you, then this is what this conversation is for. Now, just recently on social media, I was whining about ChatGPT and just how bad it was. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to give ChatGPT another opportunity. So I typed in the question, write an outline on how to start a small business in a small town. And it gave me a number of different ideas. Some of these I think are great ideas. Others I think need to be tailored for your specific area. And finally, some of them are just not good ideas at all. And again, these are my opinions, but I thought that I would share this with you. So the first thing that it said to do was to identify a need in the community. All right. So this to me is kind of a pointless thing to say. If you have a desire to start a business, chances are you already know what that business is because you have a passion for it. If your passion is just for business, well, then, okay, that makes sense. Let's find a need that's in the community. Now, you can take a look at this and see, is there a need for the business that I want to start? And if you are thinking about a brick and mortar business, especially, you're going to want to do some research and find out whether or not there is a need in your community, what your customer base would be, how wide that is, and can you reach enough people in order to have a business? I mean, if you're thinking of starting a coffee shop in a community that already has 3 and there's less than 1,000 people that live there, it's going to be tough sledding. It's unless you are offering something that the others are not, to encourage customers to come to you instead of who are now your competitors, then I doubt that that's going to be a good idea for you. And plus, if you're in a small town and you live in that small town and you're diving into the coffee business when there's already 3 others, you're not going to make your neighbors very happy about that. So obviously, identifying a need in the community, that has to do with the business that you are thinking about starting. Because if you want to get a business going, but you don't have all of the steps in place on how to actually have a business, it's not a business. You're growing a to-do list, which is essentially what mine is right now. Now, I'm working on steps in order to be able to grow things to where we can have things in place, but currently it's just me. You know, I'm out there putting these shows together by myself, doing interviews by myself, bringing sponsors on by myself. That is not a business. That is just duties that I have to now do every day. But plans are in place and working on that. And we're going to talk about that here just a little bit. You know, there is one business that's in the area that is doing very well because there is such a need for it. So if you or someone you love needs in-home care, Home Care Advocacy Network helps you maintain your own privacy in your own space while still receiving care and support with a personalized touch. Aging in place can be critical for many people. Home Care Advocacy Network can meet those needs with an understanding that assisted living is best at home. HCAN of Southwest Iowa brings the personal touch to care at home in Glenwood, Red Oak, Clarinda, Council Bluffs, all the surrounding communities. Visit hcan.com/Southwest Iowa to learn more. And Castle & Associates of American Family Insurance is your local insurance provider for all of your home, auto, life, business, and farm insurance needs. 4 convenient locations in Trainer, Council Bluffs, Bellevue, and Elkhorn. They are local. and in your neighborhood, ready to help you navigate the complexities of insurance today. Travis Castle and his team will educate, advise, and simplify insurance, all to protect those things you cherish most. Give them a call for your free quote. And also, go back to yesterday's Local Roots show and listen in on a conversation that I had with Travis Castle about some of the changes that have taken place in homeowners insurance and different things that you should be looking out for. All right, jumping back into starting up small business in a small town. Well, let me give you some things that you may have seen on a poster inside of a guidance counselor's office. I watch a lot of business podcasts in the morning. Typically, I'm just listening to them, but they are mostly on YouTube. And one of the things that I've heard over and over again is that making a decision to start a business is the first step. And when you do that, you have accomplished absolutely nothing. A decision without action is a wish. And boy, that one really hit home as I have been contemplating different things that I'm going to do with Les Hills Media and Podcast. All of these plans that I'm putting in place, until I actually take action, they're just it's just a thought. It doesn't exist. So taking action is the most important thing. And then once you have done that, you start figuring things out as you go. Get started. You have to move the needle. Do something. I write things on my mirror, and the number one thing that I have written on my mirror, so I see it every morning when I shave, is find a way to advance the business today. Doesn't matter if it's just 1%, if it's just 0.5%. There's roughly 250 business days in a year. If I move the needle 0.5% a day, I've moved it 100% by the end of the year. It's not about making huge jumps. It's about making small little increments. And that is the key. Any successful business will tell you that, they weren't as successful as they are today right out of the gate. And a lot of times the business doesn't look like they thought that it would when they start. You need to know how to pivot. But to have a good starting point is defining your business idea and being very clear about that. Get it written down. Get yourself a notebook and write things down with a pen. It is much better to do it this way than to type it into a file on the computer. I know a lot of people do it that way, and I'm sure that you're successful at it. But trust me, by writing it down on paper, you have physically taken it out of your head, and now you can remember writing it down, and it's going to be much more real. It is tangible at that point. And then you can start to put together that business plan, putting a summary together, what your business is, what is it that you're going to do, what is your market analysis, and don't just make stuff up. Truly do that market analysis. Take a look. Where is the need here? Who are my customers? I've got two different things that I do here. One is I'm talking to you right now. This is my product, but also I'm providing a service to advertisers. And as we just read a couple of those here just a little bit ago, and also on my other show, Morning Coffee, that is also a service. What value am I providing to them? It's not about me. It's about them. It has to be about them. Otherwise, they're not going to stay with me. There's a lot of media companies that have forgotten that, and we'll just leave it at that. All right. So at that point, going to figure out your budget and startup costs, find out how much is it going to cost to get these things going. And a lot of times, unless you've got really big ideas, it's less than you think. You can find a way to get things going before you have to invest a ton of money into it. Plan out your operation, knowing how many days or hours you're going to be open. Do you have to have staff right away, suppliers, everything? And again, this is if you have a tangible product that you can hold in your hand, that's one thing. Mine's more of a service industry, so I don't have like coffee mugs that I'm selling, although that would be a good idea, wouldn't it? to actually have merchandise with Less Sales Medium Podcast and Local Roots and Morning Coffee and all of that. You also need to have projections for how much revenue that you are going to be bringing in as well, because you need to know that's going to help you with your budget. So knowing where that's at, knowing where your goals are at, and again, having a goal, it's really important to be able to visualize what it is that you're trying to do. Not, all right, I may divide my audience here a little bit. I know that many of you know about something called The Secret and about, putting it out into the universe and it comes back to you and that kind of thing. Here's what I believe. I believe that we have a conscious mind and we have a subconscious mind. And the more that we can move things out of our conscious mind into our subconscious mind, then we start to look for things without realizing we're looking for them. There is a way to be successful with the business that you are thinking about. And the ways to do that exist. However, a lot of times we're blind to them. So if you are concentrating on what your goals are, you are going to start seeing things that already exist, but you weren't paying attention to before. That's what I believe. And I have real world examples on how to, that actually does work. I've seen it work over and over again in my own life. All right. So once you know what your budget is, now you got to come up with some financing. Do you need to have additional financing in order to get this started? So it comes from personal savings. ChatGPT is saying friends or family. That wouldn't be my first choice. To me, I don't want to put the risk on people that I love. So that's why I don't go that direction. However, banks or credit unions, that is a way that you could go. Small business administration, they've got microloans or grants that you can do. They're a great resource to be able to help you. Step number one, if you contact them, they're going to want to see your business plan. So make sure that you have one of those. And also take a look at community development groups or rural business incubators. I work with some of those myself. Advanced Southwest Iowa Corporation. I've said it so many times on whatever platform that I happen to have been on over the years, that if it wasn't for them, I don't exist professionally. They have done so much for me, and it was a completely free service. I also worked with a small business development center to get things going. That was back when Sue Pitts was still with them. They've got some other very qualified individuals that are there now. In our particular area, they have an office at Iowa Western Community College. So get a hold of them. Get on their calendar. Go in and talk to them. Sometimes just shoot your ideas that you have, and they can help you. That's what their job is, and it's completely free to you. So please use the resources that we have. The next step is register and get legal. And I would recommend doing this. One of the things is getting an employer identification number, or EIN. You can say, well, I don't have any employees. Why do I need that? Because you want to. You want to grow to that. So just get that done. Decide whether you want to be an LLC, sole proprietorship, S Corp, whatever it might be. Again, talking with other organizations, whether it be the Small Business Administration or any of the organizations that we talked about, they're going to be able to guide you as to what direction you may go. They're not going to make the decision for you, but they can help you with the facts that you need. Do you need any licenses or permits? Well, that is going to be, again, depending on what industry that you're going into, and get insurance, liability, workers' comp if you need it, property insurance, whatever the case may be. You need insurance of some kind. So talk to your insurance agent and find out what they recommend in order to be able to do it. Then after that, so now you've got a basic mechanism in place. You kind of have the frame of the car put together, but you haven't gone anywhere yet. Now you want to start to build a local buzz. How do you do that? The same way that I'm talking to you right now. Online, social media. There's no better marketing. There's no better cost-effective marketing than doing it on social media. So launch your Facebook page, launch your Instagram page, launch everything, and get a Google business profile put together. Google's going to walk you through on how to do that. Then join your local Chamber of Commerce. Council Bluffs has a great one. Western Iowa Development Association is a great one. There's Avoca Main Street. There are so many different places, and I don't know whether you can hear the motorcycle going by outside or not. But again, we'll talk about the need for perfection here in a little bit. But get involved in your community and get around other business people. There is an old cliche that says, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And if you're just starting a business, getting around people that have already been down the path that you're on, even if you're not asking directly for advice, just being around these folks is going to help you keep your mind where it needs to be. Different ideas you can do, offering a referral incentive or free sample day, that kind of thing. I've never had much luck with referral incentives, but if you have like actual tangible items, a free sample could definitely work. And featuring local connections, people love supporting their neighbors. So that, and again, this is coming from ChatGPT. This I definitely agree with, that by coming on a show like this, and here's the thing, if you're starting a new business, I'd love to have you on as a guest. Completely free of charge. You come on. I give everybody one shot to come on here and tell their story, because that's what this show is all about, is being able to promote small businesses, local organizations, communities, things that are going on around Southwest Iowa. That's the purpose of this. So if you have a new business you're putting out there, I would love to be able to help you tell that story. Another tip that ChatGPT gives is start small and scale wisely. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Don't try to bite off more than you can chew. Keep your overhead as low as you can in the beginning. And also here, they're diving back into a previous one where it says, stay engaged with the community, listen, adapt, and improve. When I first started my business, back 2019, 2020, I think it was 2019 when I first filed with the county with a business name. The reason that I did it was because I needed to have something filed as a business name in order to get a business bank account through my bank. So that's why I put that together. I wasn't planning on doing what I'm doing right now. I was planning on recording audiobooks, picking up any type of voice work that I could do, maybe on hold messaging, all of that stuff, use my voice in service for other people in that way. And that's what the business was going to be. Didn't stay that way. And had I not been willing to adjust and adapt, this show wouldn't exist. There's a lot of reasons this show exists, but that would be one of the ways that led me to where I'm at right now. Number 9, again, get involved in the community. There's a theme running through this, and a lot of that is being involved in the community in which you live and do business. Sponsoring youth sports teams or local events, very, very big. Get involved. Volunteer your time, at least helping out with some of I was in Junkwood in Underwood last weekend, and there was a lot of folks that were just volunteers that put all of that together. And what an event that they put together just with volunteers. That was, and being a part of that is going to get you embedded into the business community, and people in small towns like to do business with other business owners. That's just how it works. And then keep records and evaluate. Yeah, you want to keep track of what's going on. Pay attention to the money that's coming in and out of your account. Keep track of everything. Go back, revisit your business plan every 6 to 12 months. Initially, I would do it even more frequently than that. You need to be in that probably once a week at the minimum when you first get started. And it also says celebrate small wins, pivot if needed. Yeah, you want to celebrate everything that you do. I sometimes forget to do that. You know, things were in a pretty bad way last year for me professionally. I had left a job that I thought was going to be my last job, but turned out to not be anything like I thought it would be or that I was promised it would be. And something else that I learned is that if you find yourself in the wrong room, that doesn't mean you need to stay in the wrong room. So once I knew 100% for sure that I was in the wrong room, I left. It's taken me a long time to come back from that, but I have, and it's hard to see progress looking forward, but when you stop and look back, that's when you can see it. Somebody told me recently that a great analogy is I like to hike in the mountains. I've done several mountain hikes in Colorado and Arizona, different places like that. And when you're on a long hike and it's all uphill and you've got a destination, you're trying to get to the top. However, every so often, you need to pause, you need to turn around and take a look at how far you've come, because that is what is inspiring. That is how you can tell you're making progress. So, and it counts the same with business too. So if you are thinking about getting a business started, do it. Start. You don't have to sell your house and invest $200,000 into something to get started. Just get the needle moving. You can ask yourself, well, what if it doesn't work? I prefer to think of it as, what if it does? What if it does work? What if everything that you have been hoping for comes true? How about that? Because if you really pour your heart into something and continue to learn, pay attention to the trends that are happening, what changes need to be made, you're going to have a pretty good shot at making it. And I know that I'm rooting for you. And if you would love to talk about it, again, send me that email, toddstuder@gmail.com. Another great local business is Foxco Fabrication. They're located in Council Bluffs, and they do precision metal fabrication, from custom welding to large-scale manufacturing, and even to small projects, business cards. They make a lot of signs, different gauge metal. We recently talked with Rick Graybell from Foxco Fabrication on the other show, Morning Coffee, and he said he was looking into starting to make benches for his shop benches. So there's so many different things that they can do for you. Go to the website, foxcofab.com, look at some of their projects, see if it doesn't instill a little bit of an idea into you. Get a hold of them. Rick loves the one-offs. So if you have a unique idea, that's just what he's looking for. And if you have a leak, a clogged drain, or planning a big remodel, Waldstein Plumbing in Council Bluffs has you covered. Fast, reliable service, expert craftsmanship, handling everything from small repairs to major installations. They're locally owned and trusted and take pride in doing the job right the first time. Residential or commercial, big or small, when plumbing problems strike, call Waldstein Plumbing. Visit them online at waldsteinplumbing.com. If you have any questions at all, you can, as I said, this is now the third time that I've given my email address out, toddstuder@gmail.com. Send me an email. Say, hey, I've got this idea. Do you have any tips on where to start? Yeah, I'm going to get you in touch with Nikki Ferguson at Advanced Southwest Iowa Corporation. I'm going to get you in touch with the Small Business Development Center, and I'm going to get you in touch with some other business owners that I know that that's what they do. They're very, very helpful with launching new businesses, and I would love to see you succeed as well. That's going to wrap things up today on Local Roots. Thank you very much for being a part of it. My name's Todd Studer. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning.